Okay. 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 My point. My point. My point. Oh yeah. My point. My point. My point. My point. Oh yeah. My point. This is my point. My point. Hey.
Hello and welcome everyone back to My Point. This is episode 3 and we got a great show for you today. First of all though, let me apologize for my background. I'm having a little bit of technical difficulties, but you might see a little kitty cat jump up on the window, so enjoy that. So into our show, let's start with what's good.
What's good?
What's good? What's new? What's good? What's new? What's good? What's new? When you're bored at the house and tired of trying to make a dollar, gather some friends and in the end make a winner. What's new? What's good? What's new? What's good? What's new? What's good? What's new?
All right, guys. So what's good, everyone? Talk to me. How was your week? What's going on in your lives?
Just working, living life, trying to do new things while COVID's a thing. Nothing too crazy. What about y'all?
Yeah, my week was all right too. A typical week of work goes by like this, which I enjoy, but I still try to enjoy every second. Playing with my little brother, making music. But also, I want to say I saw Isaiah on Instagram, and I don't know Isaiah in person, but I thought Isaiah was like this kind of like little chubby 5'8" guy. Isaiah is big. Okay, Isaiah is 6 foot, like 1-2, and he's just big, yo. Oh my god, the camera did not. It just painted a completely different picture for me. Yeah.
Nice.
Do you get that a lot, Isaiah?
Yeah, a lot of people think I'm shorter than I am, but yeah, I'm just like, guys, I promise I'm not short. Now, I am a little chubby, but I'm not short. I'm pretty tall. I'm like 6'2", 6'3", but yeah, I get the short thing a lot.
I feel like I'd rather people thought I was short and surprised them with how tall I was than people think I'm tall and then I show up and they're just looking down on me, though. I think, I guess, of the genetic scale, I think you've ended up pretty
Yeah,
positive.
I'll take it, yeah.
Should we all say our heights real quick, or should we let the guest imagine that? Because I'm 5'6.5".
5'6.5". Oh yeah, I know. I think we talked about this last week too. Let's see if they remember. Do y'all remember? I am.
You say you're 5'10", but you're actually 5'9" and like
Yeah,
8
your
quarters.
resume says
Whoa.
5'10".
Well, I never claimed that I am actually 5'9" and some change.
That's only with shoes and tippy toes.
Hey, I tell the story a lot. I went to get a physical one good old year back in when you had to get physicals every year for high school, but you should get physicals every year anyway, right? Anyway,
Yeah, I still do.
anyway, I'm getting off the topic. All right. Well, it's back in high school. I went to go get a physical, right? And I stood up straight and tall. You know how you used to like go up just a little bit, because you want to be tall. And but she was like, all right, so on your heels. I was like, okay. So I got on my heels and I had a bend in one leg. She said up straight. And I was like, okay. And then she was like, okay. All right. And then I switched legs. And then she's like, wait, hold on. And then I did it again. She was like, wait. And then she's like, all right, and it seems like one leg is longer than the other. I was like, what? And of course, everybody in America, one leg is always longer than the other. But this was a significant difference because it mattered what leg I stood on because it gave me a whole height increase, all right? So fun fact about me, I always do that for like 2 truths and a lie. I'm just like, yeah, that's always like, one of my legs longer than the other. Then I quickly cross them so they don't know. But yeah, so I am 5'10".
I wonder why we're all like everybody in our society is so obsessed with height and like why like being taller is considered like a positive thing as a short person.
Yeah, me and G as our 5'10" selves wouldn't know what you're talking about, Harrison. But,
We're
I guess.
currently looking down at you like, what?
And
what
then
What did you
Isaiah's
say?
just
I
looking.
can't hear you from up
I'm
here.
just like,
What'd you say?
hey.
And then
Isaiah's like,
there's
"What'd you say?"
Isaiah above us, and we're like,
I know. We're all like, oh.
yeah.
Or to play telephone with the cups and the string on either end to tell Isaiah what we're talking about.
Oh my gosh, yeah, this is great. I like spontaneous conversation. Yeah.
Me too. But I'm gonna get us back on track.
Yeah.
My week has been pretty good. I'm in Baltimore for the weekend visiting my dad's side of the family. So you can't tell that I'm in a different place than I was last week or the last episode, but I am. So and it's been okay. Just applying to jobs and trying to get going on the adult life.
Good. Well, gosh, now I feel bad for like being honest now because we just had a great conversation and I'm like, woe is me. I'm all alone. Like, but this week, this past week has been quite challenging. It's been a little tough. With all things work and just like personal life, it's been kind of down, and I don't like admitting that because everybody who knows me knows that I'm always very happy-go-lucky, always smiling and joking and whatnot. But this week it's just been harder to do that. If that
It's okay to feel your feelings.
exactly. That's yeah. Thank you for saying that because a lot of the times, like growing up and like still today, and I try to practice what I preach because I tell my students and I tell my friends always, it's okay to feel the way that you are feeling. Something like, what you just said. But it's so hard to do that because society has kind of put it in us that, you're a man, you're supposed to be tough, suck it up, get over it, move on, continue your life, put a smile on that face. You know what I'm saying? But it's okay for us to express our feelings, and I'm kind of talking that through now. Like I'm telling myself as I'm telling you guys, it's okay, right?
Ew.
There you go.
Feelings. Ew.
Isaiah, you're the kind of people I'm talking about.
Well, it's really interesting that this really got brought up because that kind of leads me into my first topic that I wanted to talk about, which is toxic masculinity, which, goes along with what you were just saying. As men, a lot of times society puts pressures on us to not feel our feelings and to just like push through. And, that really does a lot of harm mentally. So, and there are a lot of people who don't even believe that toxic masculinity exists. And it also goes into like being disrespectful towards women and being disrespectful just towards, like people who don't have the same sexual orientation as you. And it's really just so toxic and terrible. And I want to get you guys' temperature on that.
Yeah. So the other week, my mom told me I was over emotional, and I was like, I don't think I am. Well, maybe I am. Like looking back, maybe I am. But I told her I don't think I am because I just feel my emotions. I express them as they come, and if I held something back, then I wouldn't feel right. And a lot of times, that's just not how it is in society. Older people have told me, back in the day, it wasn't like that. We just kept everything in, and that just sounds so just bad for yourself. Like, we have feelings for a reason. We're supposed to feel them. And if I didn't feel my feelings, like, who would I be? That's just my little 2 cents.
But does that mean vocalizing your feelings? Because like I agree with you, and I feel like yeah, we're going to feel those feelings anyway. But when it comes to being vocal about it and not holding it in,
I think being vocal is important too because not people aren't mind readers. If you're holding something back, you should express it vocally. If the feeling you're feeling is gonna change, or how am I to put this? It's good to vocalize it because it creates a dialogue. If you have an argument or a disgruntlement with somebody, you got to tell them what's up. Or if you have a disagreement, that's the word I'm looking for. You know, you have to say how you really feel. Like in a relationship, if two people aren't agreeing on something and one person just goes with what the other person says and then they just bottle up their feelings, it's going to get bottled up for longer and it's going to come out one way or another, whether it be there right then and there, not that bad, or after 6 months of continual just bottling up and then explosion, you know, if that makes sense.
I would say I completely agree with you. I mean, I know for me, growing up in like in a predominantly African area, for me, it was one of those things where we were kind of like told to man up. It could be worse. You ain't supposed to show your feelings. And I think it took me a long time. Like, I would say it wasn't until recently until I realized, you know, that's not how it should be. You know, I was that type of person. I still do sometimes, but I let things build up. And then that's all it takes, like something like that, and I'll snap and I go off on everyone, and it's not a great way to live it, you know? And I know for me, when I have my kids in the future and things like that, I don't want them to be in a situation where, you know, can't cry or they feel like they can't come to me because I'm going to judge them. I mean, that's the last thing I want. I know for me, like I said, for a long time, that's how it was for me. But, you know, got older, it's changed. It's definitely been a more progressive time. So that's a nice thing about it.
Oh.
Yeah. And like, it actually took me until college to finally realize, hey, Garrett, like it's okay to express yourself and to release a little tear or two. You know what I'm saying? I was like, I remember crying for my first time when I saw my parents walk away from me. Like freshman year, I was just like, oh, by myself, like for real this time. And then I was good for the rest of the year. Like the next day, I was like, oh, okay, let's get talking. But I didn't think nothing hit me until like my birthday, the following year, because I wasn't able to go home. I became a peer mentor, which was like a summer program, and then I was working and everything, so I never had that time to go home. And then I just broke down on my birthday because I was in a show. It was off book. Your boy, it was not off book. I'm never off book. I'm off book. Not proud of that, but it's just wasn't the reality.
Who is that? Who really is though?
You know, it should be. Whatever, Jack. And
I'm off book because I make it all up, so it doesn't really matter.
Yeah, technically you are. But I just cried. I just felt so overwhelmed. And like I also became Elwood that year. So it was just like everything, like so much was going on that I just couldn't handle it. And I broke down in front of my peer mentor and I felt better after that.
You just got to. You just got to cry and let those feelings out.
Yeah, I could count on my hands, probably on my fingers. I can count on my hands. I can count my fingers the amount of times that I've cried outside of like a funeral or a movie in public. The amount of times I've cried in public. Other than those two situations, when Les Mis came out and Jean Valjean is dying, me and my dad were in the middle of the theater like, oh God. And we stayed back. But here's the thing, we then stayed back until everyone else was gone so no one would see that we cried. It's just like, and it's so crazy. Like we're already crying in public and everyone's crying, but there's this built-in preconceived notion. It's like, we can't leave until we're not puffy and we dried up, because it'd be so embarrassing. But it shouldn't be. Like, it's okay to feel that way and do those things. And it's a hard balance, I think, because, you know, a lot of us do theater and that kind of thing where there is something to be said about showing emotion, but how to make it realistic, you know? And it's hard to do that because there are so few opportunities, I think, for guys to be realistically emotional in public, because it's just not, people don't want to see it necessarily. So it's a hard balance, I think.
Yeah, and I think the worst thing is like when you're young, as a young boy, and like you start to show emotions, and then someone tells you, "Oh, don't act like a little girl."
Mm-hmm.
Like that is the worst, thing that I feel like I gathered. And I'm not saying I don't recall like my parents or anybody saying anything about like me being a little girl or something like that. I have been told like when you're playing sports, like you throw like a girl. Like what the heck does that mean? I know I can count more than my fingers of girls that are stronger than me who can throw better than me and play sports better than me. So what the heck does that even mean? But it's not just beating us down. If that kind of language really hurts, women, and it's really multifaceted of how toxic masculinity really just is ingrained in us and affects everyone around us. Because it's like what Mikey was saying. It's gonna if you're bottling feelings up, it's gonna come out eventually, and you're gonna end up not only hurting yourself, but you're gonna hurt everyone around you.
Yeah, I would say even
You got it. I have a lot of experience bottling stuff up though too. I mean, feelings, regular everyday emotions, and like your own sexuality and things like that, they're very different. But I used to just mask my own self from myself with substances for years and years and years and years, and it was just not healthy. And I finally started to realize who I was, and I was like, this is why I'm doing all this stuff, because I'm sad. I'm just very sad. But once you face your own emotions and face your feelings and put them out there, things get better.
definitely just talk to someone, guys. That's what you guys need to do. I mean, just talk. That's the thing.
Yeah, I think it's a really healthy conversation to have, and I'm glad we talked about it here. And I mentioned crying in movie theaters. Probably most of the movies I've cried about were made by this company, Disney, who has started putting out a new sort of generation, I guess, of movies where they're taking their old stories and making them in live action. They did Beauty and the Beast, Cinderella. They're working on Little Mermaid, Snow White, all that kind of stuff. And their newest one is a live action Mulan, which is being released, but a little differently than the others. The others, it was copy and paste, but with real people. Mulan, they shared with the public that it's going to be more culturally focused. There's no songs, there's no singing. There'll be music in the background, but no musical numbers in essence. The famous Mushu character, played by Eddie Murphy, will not be in it. So I wanted to get your guys' thoughts on Disney's sort of in this time where cultural representation is so strong and being called out for in society. What do we think about Disney sort of steering away from the Disney-fied story of Mulan and making it more of a cultural phenomenon, I guess?
Well, I know for me, it's a love-hate relationship. Mulan's one of my favorite Disney movies. And specifically for his songs. I mean, I love the songs, and I love Eddie Murphy as Mushu. It was arguably one of my favorite roles for any Disney characters. But I'm also for it because I do like that Disney's putting out that for people to learn. Because I mean, from the first movie, yeah, you see these things, but you don't get the real thing. I think with this, you get the real history, which is nice, and you're giving people an outlet to express, oh, hey, I'm Chinese. Hey, I'm Chinese, and I'm proud of it, and that gives those people something like that. So, love hate for me.
Yeah, I think it's great too because, historically Disney's been kind of just white, not only white. Like they have Mulan and they have Princess Tiana and they have Aladdin. But this is really shining light to an actual cultural aspect. And I've only seen Mulan once, so I'm very not familiar with any of it. It doesn't really resonate with me. Maybe they should have called it something else just so people could detach themselves from the cartoon Mulan and not get so offended when they see this Mulan with no music and no singing and no none of this. But I think it's a forward thing that Disney's doing. To such a big company is going to make a movie about a culture that is not really covered too often.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I think that you said it perfectly. It is such a forward movement, and I think it's so necessary. But also from like the like production standpoint and like the artistic standpoint of it all, I'm kind of getting tired of all of these copy and paste movies of like just remakes of things. It's like you're getting lazy. You're not giving me new material, you know? Um, and to me, if they're going in a different direction and kind of rewriting things, I think that's better. And with the whole like Mushu thing, like who else were you gonna cast as Mushu? Eddie Murphy wouldn't do it. Like,
Yeah.
you know, and there are always gonna be people who are gonna be like, well, it wasn't good as the original. Whether or not that's objectively correct, you know, there are always going to be people who will be like, oh, that person's not Eddie Murphy, so I'm not going to watch it, you know? So I think that was a smart move on their part. Personally, I just think that they should move away and from all the remakes and just start doing new stuff. And
Exactly.
include
If they could, because I kind of like some of them, but I agree with you on the most part. It's like, okay, let's just finish this live action thing. Do the last 6 you've already planned, and then let's try and push something up. Because I like some of them, and I'm
Which
excited with the
ones?
Little Mermaid. I loved the Beauty and the Beast. I really did. But I will say, but the thing with it is, because I agree, because I think they decided, what kind of annoys me about it is I think they decided to go cultural once they asked Eddie Murphy if he wanted to do it, and they said no. Or he said no, then they're like, oh, okay, then we won't do it that way, and we'll do it. So the fact it took him saying no to them changing it is a little annoying. I wish they just didn't. If they're gonna do it, I wish they just had the idea in the first place. But I think we saw with Will Smith's genie in Aladdin that there are just some roles that you just can't. There's just never gonna be another genie. And there's never going to be a Mushu. There's just, if you do it so well that one time, it's like some parts on Broadway. It's like after this person does it, I don't really want to do it anymore because you know that it's going to be everyone's going to be compared to Ben Platt and Dear Evan Hansen. Everyone's going to be compared to. There can never be another Forrest Gump. You know, there's just some roles that just like you just can't mess with it. And it's annoying that him saying no is what it took to make it culturally relevant. But I guess we'll see how it is.
And I like to say this about it because I love all things Disney. I would have to say it's love hate too because I'm definitely down for like I want to know the culture behind it, but I'm like I really do believe that you could have kept all the appropriate things in there, even with adding in I'll make a man out of you, something or who is that girl I see staring straight back at me? You know what I'm saying? Like you could have had reflection in there still. And I just feel like some of those songs could have helped them get their point across even more because music is that universal thing that connects the soul. It connects people with other people. It connects stories with other stories. So I'm like, really, I feel like low-key they did a disservice to themselves with not having some OG songs or even making up some. But all in all, without the music, it forces you to focus more on the story and the culture. So there's that. Don't really want to repeat too much. It's just it really hurts my soul. I mean, yes, Mushu, but the music is what I'm really going to be missing. And I might go for one. Let's start with this. I'm going to wait until it comes out on DVD. I'm not going to pay an extra whatever on my
$30.
Yeah, when it's going to come to Walmart and be 17 or 19. I'd rather press my chances with that, put it in my DVD player, and play it. I'm not, and that's
hold on. You have to pay for it on Disney Plus?
It's $30 to watch.
That's ridiculous. That's ridiculous. If you're subscribed to something, you shouldn't have to pay for the content that's on it.
So that's the real oh no.
Difficulty, y'all.
We really hit a nerve with Harrison.
Yeah, that just makes me so angry. It's like all my feelings are pent up about it.
And my thing is this: if we're paying and this money just goes to Disney, that's not attractive. That's not hot. But if the money was going to a good cause, like maybe something within that culture, like like some type of foundation centered around it, then maybe I will contribute my $30 extra to look at it. If like 75% is going to a cause of some sort.
No.
But if it's just
Disney
going
ain't doing that.
yeah, if it's just going to y'all, and I'm not here for it. Actually, but it's going to the actors probably. Oh, love. See, I don't know.
Really quick before we move on, Disney, if you're watching this, I love you and please hire me back because I want to.
Oh yeah. Before we move on,
I'm ready to work.
I have so many ideas I would like to pitch to you all. I've been coming up with them for years at this point, since the age of 6. So if you would like any of those, I would love to come up with some type of meeting, Zoom, Skype. I will have my lawyer there so y'all can't steal none of the say,
I'm
"Oh,
his manager, so I'll be there too.
yeah.
Well, have your people call our people, and we'll figure it out.
Exactly, but that's just my spiel. Isaiah?
But all right, guys. We're gonna go quick commercial break. We'll be back in a quick second. And yeah, see you.
Okay.
Also, I did enjoy Will Smith.
I did too.
I was gonna say I think it was like Robin Williams level, but I thought it was but that's hard to do.
My point. This is my point.
The most nasty,
Dark and evil,
disgraceful,
dirty,
detrimental,
drugged up, genius.
super smart,
It looks like they'd be on crack.
influenced by LSD.
It's just a train wreck.
How like detrimental it is to your brain. The high is just so intense.
It does not sound healthy.
That seems crazy.
I don't know. I really don't know what's going on.
What is art? Philosophers, musicians, scientists, and even the common person have studied its implications on society and the human condition for centuries. Each person has their own definition of what art is, what it means, and how it's created. My view is simple. Art is a way to snapshot a piece of the landscape that is humanity and make it interesting. Photography, for me, captures that perfectly. It is a visceral projection of my feelings about the world, about life, and about human connection. My name is Alex Burris. I'm a freelance photographer. I've shot weddings, editorial style shoots, and conceptual portraits. I have lived in the Richmond, Virginia area for most of my life, but I feel that my work has the ability to connect with people no matter where they end up. Let's make art together.
Okay.
Hey, welcome back to My Point. All right. So I am very, very excited to introduce to you our first segment ever on My Point. Yeah. All right. I'm excited. You excited? Good. All right. So the segment is called Stuff You Should Know About Your Stuff with Harrison Gray. All right. So let's get ready.
Stuff you should know about your stuff. All right, everybody, welcome to Stuff You Should Know About Your Stuff, the segment where we talk about common household items and we give you a few facts and bits of knowledge. So today, I'm going to be talking to you guys about chairs. That's right, you heard me.
Okay.
You know, with this virus going around, we're all sitting at home, we're working from home, and yeah, I did say it. Sitting in what? Chairs. And I bet you don't know the first thing about chairs. So I'm here to tell you about chairs. Are we ready? Okay, good.
Yes,
So,
please.
I bet you guys didn't know that the oldest known chairs were considered ceremonial furniture back in ancient Egypt about 5,000 years ago. That's a long time, right? So, I mean, the big thing though is that chairs didn't really become like commonplace in our society until like the 16th century, and even then, only like the royalty and like the rich could afford regular chairs, whereas like the commonplace people, they just sat in these backless chairs, which are called
Stools.
yeah, there it is. Stools. It's all about stools. Yeah. But yeah, even like in Rome, chairs were rare and were either found in the form of like thrones or a reclined nature. You guys have all seen the pictures where like Roman people were like sitting back on those couches eating grapes and things like that. That was like when chairs were like first being like brought in, but they were more for like lounging. But here's the thing. With like I'm being totally serious now. The thing about chairs is that, now that we're sitting more than ever, there's a big health risk involved. We as humans are built for standing, and that means that leading like a sedentary lifestyle and not moving around most of the day, it can lead to a lot of serious health issues. More common than not would be bum muscles, inefficient digestion, which can lead to significant weight gain, anxiety and depression, cancer, and so much more. So, I mean, I'm not saying you got to get out there and go to the gym, because I don't do that. I don't do that. I'm not about getting swole. But I would suggest, just get up and take a walk every once in a while, even if it's around your house, like stand, So, or just get rid of all the chairs in your house. I don't care, maybe just don't sit for the rest of your life. And then, yeah. So, yeah, that can be really beneficial for you if you just, drop the sitting. Totally. So this has been stuff you should know about your stuff. I will be back with you eventually with another stuff. Thank you very much.
That was so much more serious.
I love it. Oh, that was hilarious.
You just stop laughing when you're talking about bum muscles.
My point. This is my point.
What is art? Philosophers, musicians, scientists, and even the common person have studied its implications on society and the human condition for centuries. Each person has their own definition of what art is, what it means, and how it's created. My view is simple. Art is a way to snapshot a piece of the landscape that is humanity and make it interesting. Photography, for me, captures that perfectly. It is a visceral projection of my feelings about the world, about life, and about human connection. My name is Alex Burris. I'm a freelance photographer. I've shot weddings, editorial style shoots, and conceptual portraits. I have lived in the Richmond, Virginia area for most of my life, but I feel that my work has the ability to connect with people no matter where they end up. Let's make art together.
Oh! How did I win this game? Whew!
Hi, I'm Drew, the guy from those clips you just saw. And if you enjoyed that, you can catch much, much more on my Twitch channel, twitch.tv/the8bitcasual. Follow me on Twitter at twitter.com/the8bitcasual1. I can't wait to see you there. Come hang out. We'll have some fun. Stay safe, stay friendly, and as always, keep it casual.
the most nasty,
Dark and evil.
disgraceful,
Dirty.
detrimental,
Drugged up. Genius.
super smart,
It looks like they'd be on crack.
influenced by LSD.
It's just a train wreck.
How like detrimental it is to your brain. The high is just so intense.
It does not sound healthy.
That seems crazy.
I don't know. I really don't know what's going on.
Okay.
All right, everybody. I know we just came back from a commercial break, but we're running out of time for this week's episode. So tune in next week for your weekly dose of us on Thursday, September 24th at 6 p.m. Have a good week.
My point, my point, my point, my point, my point.